we live with a prevailing urgency. Steve, the need for a coalition is not necessarily about political tendencies, politics, and people who have ambition. It's about a redemptive call. There's a challenge to save our country, and now is the time. And if the coalition has found home in the ADC, we shall collectively resolve the contradictions. Now, very importantly, which is what enamels the carapace of my mind, how do we handle the ambition of Atiku Abubakar and the ambition of my dear brother Peter Gregory Obi? Now, Steve, the reality of now takes us back to what happened in 2013-2014, when there was a coalition that led to the formation of the APC. We had almost about 9 presidential candidates. It wasn't an easy sell. And then they signed an understanding, a memorandum of understanding, that whoever emerged the candidate of a party would be supported by the others. Samanda Adzaya, Rochas Okorocha, Kwakwanso, Nasir Rufai, several other persons ran for the presidential ticket, and eventually when Muhammadu Buhari took the ticket, they supported him. You know, I don't know why the APC and raging partisans are more interested in how we resolve the issues between Atiku Abubakar, Peter Gregory Obi, Rotimi Amechi than we are concerned. We're talking about building an ideological foundation sufficient to rescue and redeem our country. And then let me say clearly that there is some kind of hubris in the public space. There is some kind of perfidy, some kind of mendacity in the public space. And it's some bandwagonism. They talk about rotational presidency. They talk about power devolving between the North and the South. And I asked Steve, for what reason did we talk about rotation of power? Was it not to create some kind of justice, equity, and fairness? Now, at the political confab in 2014, 6-zonal structure was discussed and became the purpose or the practice of our engagement. Now you ask yourself, those who are talking about North-South, I ask them, since 1999, we've had 26 years of power. Between 1999 and 2007, the Southwest produced the president. Between 2007 and 2010, the Northwest produced the president. Between 2010 and 2015, the South-South produced the president. And then between 2015 and 2023, the Northwest produced the president. What about the other regions? You know, because there is some kind of politics and perfidy, some kind of debauchery and deceit that goes on our political horizon. The major political holders use some kind of obfuscating deceit. And that brings me to that popular quote that, Steve, you know me with. Sir Walter Scott, oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. When you use the North-South divide, then you ask yourself, what about the South-South and the Southeast and the South? What about the North-Central and the Northeast and the North? Are they not Nigerians? Is zoning and rotation of power not meant to assuage their call for inclusivity? Now, if we were to allow in the popular argument that power has to stay in the South, Bola Ahmed Tinubu to finish his tenure in 2027 and extend to 2031, how many years would we have had? Steve, will have a total 28 years. 16 years superintended by the Southwest, 5.5 years by the South-South, and then what about the Southeast? What about the Northeast? And what about the North Central? So there is this thing the political class does that I have come here to debunk today. I'm not concerned as to the aspiration of Atiku Abubakar. I'm not worried or disturbed about the aspiration of my dear brother Peter Gregory. I'm thinking about Generation Next. What will posterity say about us if we do not put issues about equity, fairness, and justice in the front burner? How do I hear so many people who are decamping from their parties to the APC saying that it is because power must remain in the South? How has power remaining in the South feathered the nest of justice, equity, and fairness, and how has it helped our people in the South East and the South-South? And then how has this angling? So I think that importantly, Steve, what we should be thinking about is how we truly solve the Nigerian nationality question. And I'll tell you, Steve, quickly how we can solve it. Nigeria is a pseudo-federalism, at best a unitary system. We have left fundamental issues of state unaddressed. I was one of those who thought that having come to power, the first thing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do was to walk the path of restructuring, which he preached as the governor of Lagos State. Unfortunately, nobody's talking about it. What will solve our problems, the silver bullet as it were, is to address issues about resource control through fiscal federalism and devolution of power. If we have a truly federal structure, these issues about whether the Igbos get power or whether the Yorubas continue in power, whether the North Central or the Northeast continues in power, would etiolate. What will become the fundamental issues is how governance and leadership affects the masses of our people. So I am here to debunk the falsehood that litters and dominates our political horizon, which is about the North-South divide. It has not done justice to anybody. It has not done justice to our federalism. Right. So I do sincerely believe that going forward, we must address the fundamental issues of state.
Okay, that's very valid. The people must always come first. Now, let's bring in another angle to this. Unlike the APC merger in 2013, where 4 parties merged into one, what we're seeing with ADC coalition is more of a gathering of what I would say influential individuals from various parties, PDP, APC, who, if you think about it, lost out in their former parties. Now, let's speak on the grassroots game. How do you think this coalition can build a grassroots structure nationwide? Can this coalition now, where we see loads of personalities, translate into an effective ground game that can challenge the well-organized ruling party with regards to the APC? And then my second question to you will be on the Obi factor. His rise in the obedience movement was powered by youths and first-time voters who were hungry for something different from the old political class. Now it seems like he's teaming up with several elder statesmen and the usual power brokers, essentially the establishment figures the youth were wary of. How do you think this coalition will retain the energy and optimism of the youth-driven movement under these circumstances if he contests under this coalition? That would now be to say perhaps Atiku will be contesting under ADC because, of course, Peter Obi will not be able to contest as well if he's contesting.
Kachi, an awesome question you've just asked. And let me inform you, and indeed our viewers, that the first major effort on the coalition was by COPDEM, a segment of the Obedient Movement, Coalition for Protection of Democracy, as a segment of the Obedient Movement. And they were the first group that got into a coalition with the ADC. So in actual fact, the first effective coalition that we see on our political amphitheater came from the Obedient Movement. They reached out first to Ralph Okewonsu and the party regarding, and they signed as early as the first few months of 2024 a working charter. Most people do not know that. It wasn't these big political weights who started it. It was the COPDEM, a segment of the obedient movement. The youths understand the urgency of now, and they know that the time to redeem our country is now. It can't be any better time when what we have is politics and politics on this political amphitheater, where what we have is propaganda rather than performance and leadership. And now the issues about Peter Gregory, he understands the urgency of now. I was at the unveiling of ADC as a coalition platform, and I was with him. We spoke about these fundamental issues. You know, it is not about the challenge of the ambition of Atiku Abubakar or that of Peter Gregory. It's about moving the coalition and the message of ADC to the 774 local governments in this country, across the wards in Nigeria, and that is ongoing, effectively so. You know, Kachi, importantly, when we come to the issues about presidential ticket, we will resolve the issues in favor of the country. The movement that I had is called Country First, and we are talking to the leaders of the ADC. Some of us are involved at some level in the leadership of the ADC, and we think that it's about country first. It's about moving our country away from the nada to promise. And this will work. Believe me, it will work. You know, I do not understand why the APC is crying more than the bereaved. The point is that they should busy themselves about leadership, about transforming the jangling discord of inanity, despondency, and trauma that holds the country. They should bother themselves about fixing issues of national security. They should bother themselves about joblessness and despondency. They should bother themselves about securing Nigeria, because the primary reason for which leadership exists is the protection of life and property, one. And then it is the welfare of the people. It is tackling issues that border on food security and anti-corruption. And all these fundamental issues, the ruling party has failed woefully. So I think that moving forward, the ADC is strong enough and passionate enough and committed enough to addressing the urgency of now and resolving the contradictions that you perhaps think is existing.